Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. In this video, we're going to be talking about royals and scandals, and I thought it would be a good time to take a look at Prince Andrew in the wake of Virginia Giuffre's passing. So we'll be right back. All right, you tarot and psychic maniacs. Before we get into the cards, I want to let you guys know on Saturday, I am going to be doing a pay-per-view event where we are going to go into deep psychic meditation and we're going to take a look at the Lizzie Borden murder. So I am a tarot reader here on YouTube. I do this privately for my clients, but I am also a psychic and a medium and a remote viewer. So we're going to be remote viewing that scene and the events around it. I'm going to be hosted by my good friend Deb and Dave Murphy. You guys have seen him in the chat here. And the last time I did this kind of event, I did it on a small scale. Dave Murphy was such a great host. I thought him and Deb would be really great to take your comments, bring them over to me. We're basically going to walk through the entire crime scene and everything that happened around it. You guys can ask questions in the chat and direct me like a little remote control, and they are going to direct the questions at me. So it should be super, super fun. I hope to see you guys in there. There's a link down below to sign up for it. If you have any trouble with the link, you can email me at fortunecookiestarot@gmail.com. Would love to see you guys there. You can ask questions. You can show your face on camera. You don't have to show your face on camera if you don't want to, but it's going to be a lot of fun for a Saturday night or a Sunday morning in Australia and New Zealand. So Dave's going to be doing it from his breakfast table. But let's get into the cards here on Andrew. I'm going to bring up the card view. Please remember to hit the like button and let's get going. So I do want to be as respectful as possible and as sensitive as possible for obvious reasons, kids. And we're going to be using the Dark Mansion Tarot. This is my deck of the week. And we're going to start with what was Prince Andrew's initial emotional reaction upon hearing of Virginia Giuffre's death. The Six of Wands. Now, that's a strange card to get now, isn't it? The Six of Wands is victory. Mission accomplished. Let's see what that second card is. Five of Cups, because it was the worst time of his life. What's under the surface here? The Six of Cups, remembering the way things were before. Suitcase position, the Empress, trying to manage that situation, trying to create something out of that situation. Up top, the Four of Cups. He does not have to further defend himself in his mind. And what is ahead? The Knight of Cups. He actually feels like he can restore himself to any kind of dating or relationship perspective here in the public eye. So I am confident that he has not been, a solo kind of dude. He's probably dated people in the interim. But now he feels that any relationship he gets in is not going to be judged. Very strange. This is an ultra strange combination of cards, the Six of Wands and the Five of Cups together, because this is, woohoo, I did it. And I am no longer going to be bound by the misery or any of this. And I can get back to things as they were. So very strange reaction.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
He hates these cans. Gregopedia is here. How does he privately process her passing? Is it fear? Is it guilt? Is it relief? Is there something else going on with him? How is he privately processing her passing?
Privately processing her passing?
Yeah.
It's a pretty perfunctory, perplexing
It was. It's a lot of. It's a good thing I have this mic covered because a lot of P's there. So 8 of Swords in reverse, which means he is released from the situation. Ace of Wands in reverse, where maybe passions got the best of him. Maybe he was in a circumstance that was less than ideal. And I do understand for those of you that are in the United Kingdom that age of consent, Virginia Giuffre was of the age of consent when she was there with him. So does he have to adhere to the laws in the United States or in the United Kingdom? When in the United Kingdom, it's a dicey situation. I understand somebody brought her there, but
was he invoking his right of prima nocta?
No, I don't think it was prima nocta. Nobody got married.
No.
What is the energy around the timing of her death? And how does this intersect with Andrew's current life circumstances? So, what was the energy around the timing of her death? Let's start there. Oof.
Andrew had the carpet cleaning business outside of receivership.
I think he does. So the 5 of Swords, there was a lot of conflict and fighting here. And this Knight of Wands. But this is around the timing of her death. Someone very excited about managing this particular situation. This is very excited about managing this particular situation. And then someone who helped out here. So I've said in, I think it was in a members only reading, I said she put herself to bed. I do think that she put herself to bed, but at the same time, when she had the bus accident, I said somebody gave her an injection of something. There was some kind of injection that had gone on there. Now I don't know if that was a sedative to calm her down. I don't know if that was something that was going to do something later on. But this is sometimes a fascinator, or the person who asks for the fascinating. How does her energy, the energy surrounding the timing of her death, intersect with Andrew? Knight of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, Queen of Wands. My goodness, guys. I didn't think that there was anything there, but you all know who that 7 of Swords guy is, right? The Knight of Pentacles is the one that changes the storyline. And the Queen of Wands is in reverse, stopping her from doing something. My. I did not expect this, guys. I did not expect this. I want to say that. I did not expect this. So, about the bus accident and that social media post. So, what was the intent behind that post? What was the intent? And I've said previously that I thought the intent was to try and get to see her kids, instigate some action there. So let's just check that. The King of Cups, extending that cup, showing herself as vulnerable to the powers that be. So I do think that I'm going to continue with that I do think she did that post so that she could influence a little bit of sympathy toward her. How did Andrew view that post? It was all over the news. He didn't miss it. How did Andrew view that bus post?
This is probably on TV. On the telly.
So I do think that there was a relief of anxiety. Oh, thank goodness it's over. Things are ending now. Ace of Swords. It's the end of the storyline. They're not going to be able to get any more information out of her. 10 of Wands. The chapter is closed. The book is closed. We're all done. But Gregopedia said something very funny. How is he going to view it? Probably on TV. So, did he view it as a threat? Was there any change to his behavior and anxiety after the post gained attention? So let's look at the before. Here's his before. Here's the after. So before, I think that there was mixed emotions about it, with a desire to correct the narrative. After, I think there was some colorful language that came out, because now the story has swirled down the drain and we're unable to get any more testimony out. So I think before, he wanted to set the record straight, and after, he really can't, because now it looks like doth protest too much. Not the lady, but him. Does Prince Andrew believe, or does he think, that others may have been involved in her demise? Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Swords. You know, there's a little bit of snobbishness that comes out here, and he's like, well, she was messing around with all those filthy people. She was involved with all of that naughtiness. And I think, you know, his perspective is not so much that she was involved in a terrible organization that was taking advantage of young, pretty women, but that she was involved to a greater extent of her own association with those shady folks. And there's not so much pity because of the things that she declared about him, but, well, it was a life poorly spent. And so it is what it is, you know. Prince Andrew, I think, is one of those individuals that doesn't understand why poor families can't just not be poor anymore. Well, just stop being poor.
Stop being poor. The money becomes yours.
If you just work hard, you'll not be poor. So I think he is one of those people that has, and trust me, Prince Andrew's poor is a lot different from your and my poor. You know, the difference between buying food or paying the electric bill, you know, and Prince Andrew has to not go to Fiji for the third time this year. So do you think he goes to Fiji?
There's not right.
Do you think he goes to Fiji?
He goes to Thailand. Gary Glitter told him about it.
He doesn't go to Thailand.
Oh my God. Beautiful brown boy girl.
Ah, we're really going to get in trouble in this video. So,
wouldn't you like his brother, sister?
Is there ongoing communication within Buckingham Palace for him to remain silent on this matter? Is there a continued message for him to STFU? Yes. There is absolutely a message to him that if he does not continue to be silenced, thank you very much, Oprah, then
Lindsay Cunningham.
he risks being on the outside of his family. And I do think that there is some, well, you don't want to be left out in the cold of California like Prince Harry. I do think that there is some of that. And, part of him not wanting to leave Royal Lodge is out of familiarity, but also because it does carry this panache. It was his grandmother's home after all. So he doesn't want to leave it for that reason. There is some level of security there because it is an historic building. But if he continues to stay silent on this matter and doesn't push the envelope, the reestablishment of him as an individual in the royal family, I think, is ongoing. Much in the manner of, and a lot of talking heads right now are saying that the removal of Harry and Meghan and the systematic removal of them from the royal family, bit by bit, death by a thousand cuts, kind of. I think Andrew is returned to the fold by a thousand small things. So, we saw him at Easter. We did see him at Easter, and there was a bit of kerfuffle. I think that was a test run. And I think we may see him involved more a little bit here and there. So, for whatever it's worth, he was not convicted of that. And I'm still not sold that picture was official. Obviously the interview he did with the BBC was terrible. But now everyone else has another BBC interview to kind of chuckle at. So what does Andrew fear the public might still hear about this, maybe through the press? Like, what does Andrew fear that is coming out? Is there anything that he is worried about that may come out? Does he have concerns? Let's start with that. Does he have any concerns that there's more information that may come out? Here we go. One card. Does he have any concerns? Judgment in reverse. No matter what happens, he feels like the judgment is going to be against him. What does he think they will drop a bomb on? Two of Cups, Three of Cups. This is going to be dalliances, Tower. The Tower is something that happens to us. I think he is afraid that there's going to be couplings and thruplings that may be revealed to the public. But you know what, Andrew, it's 2025. Like, nobody's going to care if we had two gals at the same time.
Yeah, that's your identity now. Like your gender. Okay, cool.
That's his gender?
You're with it. He's cool.
I'm hip man.
All he needs to do is keep his mouth shut because his nephew is just going to take all the bad attention away from him.
I can't believe that you are editorializing a statement. You're giving an editorial on Prince Harry and Prince Andrew. Look at you.
Everything I've learned about the royal family was involuntary.
Lance Link. Link Lauren just said that too. He's like, everything I've learned about Harry and Meghan has been against my will. I love Link Lauren. So does Prince Andrew feel any personal remorse or responsibility related to her story? Does he have any personal remorse. All right, so some may read this one way. Some may read this, oh, I did some things back in the past that I really liked, and I'm a shady McShadester because of it. I don't think so. I think what really is going on here, feeling any remorse, I do think he feels remorse that this individual, because the Six of Cups is children. I do think that he feels remorse that individuals like Virginia were mixed up in this whole thing. It's very unfortunate. It's very seedy and terrible and Dickinsonian. Dickinsonian? Trying to say Dickensian, like a Charles Dickens book.
Is it Charles Dickens or Dickinson?
Charles, but I'm trying to say
Dickens-like.
Dickens-like. This video is definitely getting flagged. How many times did we say dick in the last 3 minutes?
Dick like 8 times.
Wow, we're dicking around here. So I think that this is not the serious video that I expected it to be. I'm so sorry, guys. So I think he feels sorry, remorse for the fact that young women were subject to this kind of lifestyle. Isn't it terrible that they were so busy being poor that they couldn't get themselves out? And, like the poor thing is coming through really, really strong. Like, oh, they're so poor down there. They have nothing left to sell but themselves.
How poor are they?
Yeah. How does he feel any responsibility, personal responsibility related to her story? Does he feel responsible for her?
I do not want to go to the Dickinsonian Museum.
6 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. No, he doesn't. He doesn't feel any responsibility. And I don't think that he has much responsibility. I'm not, again, you can comment down below. I am not sold on that photo being real, and that's the only hard evidence that he was there.
Ew.
Ow, really? How does her death affect how he sees the future of his public image in the royal family? This is his thoughts. How does he think her death will affect his role and image in the royal family? Oh, you know what? He is very concerned that it is closing a door on any interaction with the royal family publicly, but he is going to be well kept behind the scenes. There he is, 9 of Cups. There he is. Oh, ho, ho, ho. With his bottle of sherry right next to him. So not sweating in that picture. So I think they will keep him in the manner that he has been kept forever and anon.
In a manner.
Yeah. In the manner.
In a manner.
In a manner. No, he's in Royal Lodge, not a manor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Royal Lodge. So, but I think that this is one more thing. His impression is that this is one more thing that is like, people are going to say, does he have any involvement in it? The first couple of spreads I did, maybe there might be something involved there. Maybe it's on him directly, but maybe something. What is Prince Andrew most concerned about moving forward? It's actually a really, really long video. What is he most concerned about moving forward? So is it legal exposure, reputation, family reaction, or wild cards? So legal exposure, 8 of Pentacles. I think that has run its course. this is reputation. His reputation is in shreds, and he knows it. He knows it. He knows that's not coming back. Family reaction. I believe that his family has had a two-pronged reaction to this. I think some people are a little bit more prudish about the whole business. And I think some are more, meh, no big deal. And over here, something else, the high priestess. This, I believe, has to do with his children, and that they really understand that his actions may have been that of a younger man, someone who was less inclined to do the right thing at all the time. So perhaps I think that obligation to his family, meaning his immediate family, family reaction was really for the bulk of the family, his large family. So let's see. How will the public narrative about Prince Andrew evolve now that Virginia Giuffre has passed? Page of Cups, Five of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Four of Swords in reverse, Eight of Swords. I don't think he really can escape this. I do think that it is another layer, some would say, of unfortunate luck with that Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It's something that is indefensible now that he has no one to defend against. Now it's the ghost of the story that he has to defend himself against, and no one wants to speak ill of the dead. No one wants to vilify the dead, especially after they've written a book and they've told some harrowing tales. No one wants to do that. Above all, the high priestess, yeah. 10 of Cups in reverse. His legacy is it was shattered before and now it is closed off. Any restoration of that individual is really gone. So what's the final truth on this, guys? What was his connection to her in life? What's the final truth? You ready? What was his connection to her in life? Three of Swords in reverse. The Tower. Three of Cups in reverse. Two of Cups. I do think that, I don't know if the picture is real. I'm going to say that. But I do think that there was some involvement. He was on that island. I think that if he wasn't involved with her, he was involved with somebody near her. Someone that she talked to. Maybe it's an amalgam story that she used. I think he was there. I think there were dalliances. Let's put it that way. Did he know exactly how young all those girls were? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he just thought Epstein had a whole bunch of gals there. I don't know. But I do think that he partook of the delights on the island. Let's put it, I'm not using flowery language because I condone it. I'm using flowery language so that I don't get this video popped. But I do think that he partook of events. We see that Tower in reverse. That's something we do to ourselves. The Three of Swords in reverse is trying to make himself feel better, trying to make himself feel younger and desirable and wonderful. So maybe his buddy Jeffrey said, come on down, let's party a little bit, let's have some good times. It's going to be a bunch of girls there, a bunch of college girls. Go hang out with a bunch of college girls. They like hanging out on my island. I don't know if he knew the whole story. But once, that Three of Cups is excess. it's getting into deep. It's drinking too much, smoking too much, snorting too much, pumping too much. It's too much of all of that. And sometimes you get blinded by that. Two of Cups, union, not being able to get away from it. So I don't necessarily think that it was absolutely positively him and her, but I think there was some adjacent activity. Let's put it that way. What is the final truth about his connection to her passing? Is there a connection? Do we have a connection there? Is he responsible for it? Oh, Sun card. The Sun is a yes. Queen of Pentacles. We need more clarification on this. Queen of Pentacles. The Fool in reverse. There's the lady with money, spending it recklessly. And there's the Star. What is the rest of this story? The Five of Wands. Conflict. Temperance. And then the Five of Swords going into further conflict. I think I don't think that there were, let's say, orders given for people to go and take care of this problem. But I do think that the settlement from the crown exacerbated some of the troubles in Virginia's life. That doesn't mean, she was getting into things that she shouldn't, or she was overspending the money. I think, sometimes people say more money, more problems. I think that was one of the situations here. I think the groundwork of her experience as a young woman set her up to not have a happy existence forever and anon in this particular lifetime. I think the settlement that was given to her made it easy to have individuals in her life that would not necessarily have healing in mind. Just, it was more like distraction. The money lended to distraction rather than healing. Restitution, I'm not sure how they referred to it, but if it's restitution for things that were done to her, how, what price is on your soul? Eventually you have a moment where you say, did I buy this ranch and jet ski and home and veil, and it made me feel any better? It makes you feel better in the moment, but I don't think it heals your soul. I think she heaped a lot of responsibility onto an individual when it should have been heaped on a number of individuals. So a very sad story here. Very, very sad indeed. I don't think that he, called up one of those 3-letter organizations and said, hey, do this now. The timing is not right for that. The timing doesn't make sense. Like, why now? I think it really was a situation where she was an extremely stressed person from her experiences. And I think that that equation summed up to her putting herself to bed. As I've said before, I think she put herself to bed. I think the money that she got in settlement was a contributing factor, or a temptation to distract herself from some of the emotional corrections that she should have made. So for whatever therapy she went to, probably there is not enough therapy to get you through that. So there were some light moments in here. I apologize. I did want to be as respectful as possible. So very interesting. At the end of this, I do see that Prince Andrew's reputation is there's always going to be this question about whether he was involved in this or not. I don't think that he was directly. I think that the money that was given to him had or given to Virginia has actually confirmed that his life of service will not be able to continue and prevented her from moving forward and healing. So is there a lesson for all of us to take away from this? I'm not sure. You know, maybe not. It's not that simple to just kind of go and have a handshake with genitals, so to speak. That's what Greg, you said that. That was something you said. It's like shaking hands with genitals. You know, maybe that, you know, and I'm not a prude or anything like that, but you know, maybe we shouldn't be as free and independent with that as we have been since the 60s and 70s, you know. Maybe that's something that needs to be lined up. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments before I go off on a tangent. This video is way longer than I expected it to be. So don't forget, we're going to do a pay-per-view event this weekend. Lizzie Borden had an axe, gave her father 40 bucks when she saw the job was done. She gave her mother 41, and it really wasn't that much. But if you come to our event, you'll find out all the details. I will give you the skinny on it in the beginning, and then I'm going to go into meditation, and I'm going to start remote viewing, and you guys can ask questions about where you want me to go. So I will hopefully see you on Saturday. So everybody have a great night. Thank you so much. And and we're going to have lives this afternoon. So I will see members only live on Thursday afternoon, and also general admission live on Thursday afternoon. So I'll see you guys over there. All right. Have a great night.
Lizzie Borden?
What's that?
Think Anne Frank can take Lizzie Borden?
Do I think Anne Frank could take Lizzie Borden? Anne Frank didn't have an axe.
No.